All right, ladies and gents. So that was Plavan, and he was talking about achieving dynamic links using React Native Firebase. Before we move on to our next speaker, here's a quick reminder: if you are watching and you like what you're seeing, don't forget to tweet about us. Tweet using the hashtag RNBLR and let the world know what we are doing here today, so more people can join in on the fun. Uh, well, thank you so much for that. And with that, let's move on to our next speaker of the day, Nishan Bende. He is going to be talking about React Native Aria, which is a brand new venture that's been started by him. So let's have Nishan here with us on the stream.
Mm,
There he
hi,
is. Hi,
yeah,
very good afternoon, Nishan.
yeah.
How are
Good
you doing
afternoon.
today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful to know. How's your day been going?
I just completed my presentation, so it's
Uh-huh.
been good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Nishan here is not. It is not his first time on React Native and React meetup. He has been a part of this meetup before as well as a panelist. And now today he's going to be a speaker and presenting some new findings that he has come across. As a short introduction, of course, Nishan is a full stack developer. He is currently tinkering with React Native, React, and Node. And he likes to play the guitar in his free time. Have you thought of starting a band, maybe?
Earlier I used to, but now I'm like a solo.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a solo performer, ladies and gents. So why don't you? I mean, is there any place where they can check you out? Maybe how you play or something like that. Do you have an
Actually,
Instagram account?
I used to upload long before, like at Facebook, but now I don't
Mm-hmm.
upload. So maybe we'll start uploading later.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good. Nishan Bende at Facebook, ladies and gents. You should always go and check him out.
No, I have like deleted my account now, so I'm
Oh,
not
he's
there anymore.
deleted it. Well, you should start one again then. I'm pretty sure everybody would like to see that. Anyway, so Nishan, I'd leave the stage to you, and why don't you take it away?
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me
All the
start
best.
sharing.
Yep.
I hope everyone is able to see this. Okay, so like let's first start with the definition. Like, what is React Native Aria? So yeah, it's a library of React hooks for React Native Web and React Native Android and iOS that provides accessible UI primitives for your design system. Right? You can read more at the documentation, but like let's zoom out a bit and see like what it means by accessible UI primitives. Right? Okay, so what is accessibility? Okay, so accessibility is a very broad topic, and we are not going to cover everything in detail. We'll be just focusing on components and accessibility related to components. So yeah, so but generally, accessibility means that people with disabilities can use and understand the web. And the goal of web accessibility is that all people can perceive, understand, navigate, interact, and contribute to the web, right? So like sometimes it's easy to assume like everyone has a mouse, everyone is able to use web using a like mouse or yeah, or touch screen and anything, but like there are people with certain conditions, they need to navigate web via just keyboard or some like devices, right? So we need to consider them as well, like when we are designing or creating websites. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about web accessibility. So yeah, we can separate elements into like two categories. One is like interactive elements. So these are you can consider them as modal, menu, checkbox, form elements, and non-interactive elements, right? So this includes the structure and layout of the HTML, the elements used for structuring and layouting the HTML, right? The nav tag. Yeah. So HTML5 includes some of these tags like nav, article, and H1 and H6 are already there. So let's take a demo. Okay. Okay. So now we are looking at some interactive elements. So let's check out this demo. Okay. So yeah, like previously, like for many years, I have been building interactive elements like this because I didn't check very much in detail about accessibility. So yeah, as you can see, this is a simple menu element. If I click here, it opens this like drop down, right? But you can see like we haven't taken anything into account for accessibility, right? It just simply opens the drop down, right? But yeah, so this is not how it should work. It is not accessible for keyboard users. So let's say if I tap here, right, the focus doesn't shift to the first element, right? So we will look at the specification of menu component, how this component should actually behave. So yeah, this is the specification. Let's look at the menu component. Yeah, so this is how it should behave, like keyboard interactions. And 1 minute. Yeah, menu button, right? So pressing enter should open the menu, and it should place focus on the first menu item, right? But as you can see, like pressing enter doesn't move focus to this copy button, but it should ideally. So yeah, we should not ever build menu components like this, right? Okay, we should always take account of this specification. Yeah. Okay, so now let me close this demo. uh, yeah, so this is the example of how a menu component should behave. So let me first tap here. If I click here, as soon as I press enter, as you can see, the my focus automatically shifted to this first link. And when I press down key, I'm not using mouse here. I'm just pressing down, 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 and it keeps on like doing the focus shifting, right? So yeah, so this was the example of interactive elements. So there are like many elements. We just check the menu. So each one of these elements have specific behavior, like how they should behave ideally, considering keyboard and focus management stuff. Okay, so now let's look at the non-interactive elements. Okay, yeah, so for example, this is an article, right? And now we have heading here, and this is the post description, right? We haven't taken into account semantic elements, right? So there are few elements. I mean, we can refactor this thing into a bit more semantic meaning, right? Let's say we put this heading into H3 tag, and we can put this div into paragraph tag, for example. Okay, now as you can see, the styling is a bit weird because browser has some styling for HTML elements. We can reset that, but let's see how rich it has made accessibility wise. Okay, so now we will use one software called VoiceOver. It's built into Mac. So this is what people with like people who have vision impairment use this to navigate websites, right? So let's use this.
VoiceOver on Chrome.
Cool.
React app
Okay,
Google Chrome
so
Nishan
as you
window.
can see,
React native
we
Aria
have
Google
added
Slides tab.
sorry,
Button
1
art.
minute.
What
Let me
key
pause
editor is
this.
not accessible at this time? Press Alt. Art. Insertion at end of
Yeah, so we have added article element and H3, right? So okay, start it again.
void landmarks menu. Article landmarks menu.
Okay, now it's
You are
showing
currently in a
article in the
voiceover
landmark
menu.
region,
This is
right?
a list of voiceover closing.
Okay,
Landmarks
so
menu. Articles menu. Windows headings menu.
yeah, and also
Heading
showing
level
the
3.
heading.
This is a post
This
title.
is because we added
You are
H3 tag.
currently window articles menu. Landmark article. Heading level 3. This is a post description.
Yeah.
Voiceover off.
So using this article heading tag, we made application a bit more accessible, right? People with like visual impairment, they can just uh, they can just navigate through article and headings, because headings are like most they are considered as important text, right? So maybe they can just navigate to headings using that, like which I just showed. Okay, so this was semantic HTML element, right? Okay, let's see a demo of YouTube, like how they are using semantic HTML element to make navigation a bit easier. Okay, let me start voiceover again.
Voiceover on Chrome. Landmarks menu.
Okay.
Chrome has banner. Search. Navigation. Main. You. Banner. Group. Guide. Selected. Toggle button. Voiceover
Okay,
off.
so as you saw, that YouTube has like has created regions called banner, navigation, and main, right? So yeah, I mean, this is how you can make navigation easier for like those who are using voiceover, right? And so how to do that? So these are called like landmark regions, how you can create them. So it's specified over here. Okay, so what is it? Yeah, so for example, as you saw, we saw on YouTube, it was showing navigation region, right? So this entire section is put into a navigation region. So how you can define that in your website? So you can put role equal to navigation to that entire div. So let's say this is a sidebar navigation. You can assign role equals to navigation. It will start automatically showing into that voiceover landmark region, right? And this is Aria technique. There is also HTML5 element called nav, so you can use that also. Yeah. Okay, so these are the two things. Now let's look at accessibility traits. Okay, this is the web part, and this is reacted to Android and iOS. So in web part, as you saw in the earlier demo, we need keyboard interactions, right? For interactive elements, we need to manage ARIA roles and attributes, and yeah, we also saw semantic HTML and focus management. Okay, Android and iOS might need focus management when used with a hardware keyboard. So that I haven't yet explored in much detail. Maybe I will explore it next. Okay. So now what are the existing solutions? Like what can we do? Like we shouldn't make okay, close the demo. 1 minute. Let me quickly open it. Okay, it's taking a bit long. Let me just close it. Okay. So as you saw, we shouldn't make menu element like I had shown you earlier. So then what should we use? Okay, so there are a few solutions which exist. Yeah, first thing, use platform components whenever possible. So you should use elements which are already provided by HTML or browsers, right? Like select element, for example. You should not create your custom select. And second, no area is better. So I have added some resources which you should check them out, and after that start integrating accessibility in your websites, right? Because it's very easy to like put i mean put like put more information like which is not necessary, and like it can confuse users, right? So first you should check the resources which are put in like, end of the slides, and after that you should start experimenting with accessibility techniques. Yeah. And okay, so there are few libraries out there which can help you create such components. So first let's check out Reach UI. So yeah, so as you can see, they provide unstyled elements, which, so this is the menu component which you can use and style as per your design, and it behaves as per the specification, right? They have mentioned it in the doc. You can check it out. And there is React Aria, which we'll talk later. So this one is from Adobe. We are using this in React Native Aria for web. And there is Redux UI, which is the recent one. Okay. So yeah, native base 3, we will handle accessibility for web and mobile also. So it's in development. And other thing is testing. So I think whenever you create a website, you should test that website just like you do inspect element with, test it out with voiceover, or maybe uh, try just using keyboard and test the website, right? If it's accessible or not. Okay, now let's move to other slide. So, okay, we talked about web. So we saw like the semantic and interactive elements. Now let's look at native web accessibility. Okay, so this is like two videos of components. 1 minute. This one is, yeah, mini.
Talk back on.
Okay, so like we have voiceover on Mac, we have talkback on Android, and voiceover on iOS. Okay, so let's see how it works with the menu
More
component.
options. Pop-up window.
Okay, so as you saw, as soon as I clicked on that menu button, it read the label, so accessibility label. It read the it is very important when you and okay, so as soon as I clicked on that item, it shifted the accessibility focus to this new tab first button in that pop-up, right? So it automatically did that. So whenever you have a pop-up model or something in your Android or iOS, you should make sure that whenever someone taps on it, it shifts the accessibility focus to that element, to the first element, right? So this was menu component on Android, and this is tabs. Okay, I'm not sure. Like whenever I play video, it lags a bit. So I think I won't. Okay, it's playing now.
Talk back on. Entertainment. Entertainment. Selected.
Okay, so as you saw, this is the Twitter native app, native Android app. So when you, so these are the tabs, right? When I click on entertainment tab, it tells you that entertainment is selected now. Okay, so these are some components. Similarly, there are like many components. We have listed them in React Native Aria's documentation, so you can check that out. And okay, so now we talked about native app accessibility and web accessibility. Now, how does this apply to React Native, right? Yeah, so this is tweet from Jamin, CEO from Infinite Rat. It's a React Native agency, and so they're saying like, yeah, React Native it works on Android, iOS, Windows, etc., etc. So on web also. So okay, so we will be focusing on web, Android, and iOS, and let's see what is React Native Web. So basically, whatever components which we write in React Native, for example, view, pressable, or text, it gets converted to HTML elements. It's built on top of React DOM and supports all Aria attributes. Okay, so now this enables us to create a single component, for example, a menu component, right? And share that with the React Native Web and React Native Android or iOS. But as you saw, like their accessibility needs are different, right? For example, menu component in web, it should focus all the keyboard interactions, focus management and stuff. But on Android or iOS, it should just open as a pop-up and just shift the focus to the first element, right? So yeah, so the needs are different. And now let's move back to React Native Aria. And what it does, yeah it provides a single library which can be used to create such components, and which caters the need of React Native Web uh, and Android and iOS accessibilities, right, for such components. Okay, yeah, so for web we are using React Aria. So that is, let me open it quickly. Okay, you can check this out in detail because yeah, we don't have much time. So you can read the documentation and check about the approach. Like also there's one great talk. I think I have added in resources, so you can check that from Devon, I mean the from Adobe, who is behind this library. So you can check that, like what is the architecture and what we are using in React Native Area. Okay, so yeah, examples. So this is the menu component built using React Native Aria. Let's see what it does when we run it in
Talk back
native
on.
Android. Yeah,
Click here to perform some actions. Collapsed button.
yeah. So uh, the the text it read out. Click here to perform some actions. It's an accessibility label, so it's reading that out, and
Click here to perform some actions. Expanded.
yeah. So it reads that it's expanded and it shifts focus to the first element of that menu element. And this is when we run it on web. Okay, I have it open. Okay.
Voiceover on Chrome. React Native Bot. Leaving React Native Bot Mono example Google Chrome Nishan Person 1. Entering React Native Bot Mono example web content. Click here to menu item menu. Click here to cut.
Yeah, I mean it behaves as expected. Like you can use keyboard focus and keyboard interactions, up down arrow keys as per the spec. Okay, so these are some additional resources which I highly recommend you check them out. This is like free course on web accessibility by Google, and this one's really cool website. It like showcases how some how you can how there are some quick wins which you can like quickly do to increase the accessibility. So yeah, before like starting any of this accessibility thing, you should first check these resources. After that, only like dive into that. And yeah, this is the React Spectrum architecture which we are following in React Native Aria, and you can read about this, like how we are using hooks to uh, yeah to get accessible components in web and native Android iOS. And yeah, I think that's it from my uh, yeah, if you have any questions you can just hit me up on Twitter, or like let me know. And you can also check out the source code, it's here on GitHub. And one thing I want to show, okay, I have it open in my local. So like how do we make sure that the code from like web and Android iOS, it doesn't get bundled into your build? So we have different entry points. So this use menu.web.ts, it gets bundled when you are using this library on web. And we have simple use menu which gets bundled when you are using it on Android and iOS. So yeah, your bundle size won't be that big if you use this. Okay, it's still in development. We have few components. Let me show you. So still we haven't added use menu and other components which are in development, but we'll soon update the documentation. But you can check it out. Yeah, and let us know like who. Digvijay, you can take it.
Hi again, Nishan.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, thanks so much for the presentation. We do have a question from one of our viewers. Aditya asks, is React Native Aria made over React Native default accessibility, or does it have some other native dependencies?
So no, Aditya. Currently, we are just using whatever props which are provided by React Native as default, which can be found in React Native's accessibility documentation. So we are not depending on any native dependencies as of now.
Right, I hope that answers your question, Aditya. So for now, we don't have any more questions for you, Nishan, but I'm sure we might have some more. So we'll probably tackle those towards the end of the event, and we would love to have you over towards the end of the show as well.
Sure.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you towards the end.
Thank you.